Hey on everyone, this is just going to be a quick E3 predictions and wishes. E3 week is, I would say, pretty much here already. During this last week we got a lot of great news, and of course a lot of people can't help themselves with leaking a lot of information, and I just want to get stuck into it and make this a very quick video. So I just want to get this off my chest. The companies and conferences I'm not interested in are, of course, Ubisoft, EA, Bethesda, and Microsoft. I have no interest to check them out. I mean, there's usually some sort of curiosity to check out Microsoft because I'm not really a big Microsoft guy, even though I do play games on the original Xbox and 360, but I have no desire to get a Xbox One yet, and there really isn't anything in the near future that makes me want to buy an Xbox One. I think what will most likely happen, my curiosity will get the better of me and I'll watch a video of the conference, but as for like staying up to watch the conference in the early hours of the morning, no, I'm not going to do that because I'm already doing that for many others. To begin with, as the time of this recording, I know Nintendo is going to kickstart some of their festivities with some competitions and some news from Smash Brothers, which sadly got leaked. So, of course, for everyone, if you don't know, Lucas is going to be a DLC character, and so is Roy and Ryu from Street Fighter. As a Fire Emblem fan, I am so happy Roy's back in Smash Brothers. That's the LB Saga representative. You know, the LB Saga is comprised of Fire Emblem Binding Blade, and the very first Fire Emblem game that came out in the West, which is codenamed like the Burning Blade or Rekken no Ken. So I'm really happy to have a character sort of representing that saga, and I shall be using Roy a lot as I use the other Fire Emblem characters. So here's my predictions and wishes for... I'll actually go with Sony first. Is we got that little tidbit of supposed Medieval 3, or just a new Medieval game in general for the PS4, assumedly, and that was such a beautiful video, and I'm so glad that there's another Medieval game, because if you guys don't know, I absolutely love the Medieval series. It's one of the most standout titles on the PlayStation 1, and the remake of the first game on the PSP is quite excellent. In fact, having the inclusion of Sir Daniel Fortescue in PlayStation All-Stars, that was actually probably the reason I bought the game, and it was pretty awesome to play as him. So I'm really, really looking forward to another Medieval game. RPG-wise, I would say my big prediction is that Sony is going to probably support Atlus. I wouldn't be surprised if the best trailer at the Sony conference is going to be whatever Atlus brings forth for Persona 5, because of just how big the buzz was with the game at the start of the year, and it's been a long time since there's been any news of Persona 5, so I assume that that's going to be the big trailer at the Sony conference. I think there's going to be a big focus on the Vita. The Xseed has announced a crap ton of games for the Vita. 2 in particular that I'm going to do a Falcom News Time about, because I'm over the moon about these 2 games getting localized, and they are wonderful games. So you'll probably see a lot more Vita than support than you did last year. That's one of my predictions. Maybe finally a price drop would be marvelous. Like, seriously, the PlayStation 4 needs a price drop bad. Even if it's $50, it's either a price drop or an upgrade, like, to a terabyte or 2 terabyte hard drive. That would be fantastic. I think the age of the first wave of PS4s is coming to an end, and we need that next model. Seriously. So yeah, there isn't really much from me from what I want from Sony. I'm looking forward to more news on Uncharted 4, but other than that, there isn't really any sort of wishes I want from Sony. I think they've pretty much been doing a good job. Everything, there's so much announced for the system already that there's nothing that I would want beyond that. So let's get to the last one, of course, that is Nintendo. And I would say most of my predictions and wishes are for Nintendo. My prediction is there's going to be more news on DLC, because I think at this point Nintendo wants to keep pushing some of their best sellers for more content. Like, you're going to see more DLC for Mario Kart 8. You're going to see more content in the future, probably beyond the free characters I mentioned for Super Smash Bros. And one of the best news that I actually predicted that's already come true is that Hyrule Warriors is going to get a 3DS version, and the new characters that's going to be in the 3DS version can be transferable to the Wii U version and unlocked, and that's good enough for me to buy the 3DS version again. I don't know if I'm going to put as many hours into the 3DS version, but any of that content that's on the 3DS version I want to carry over to the Wii U version, because I think my save file is nearing like 275 hours of play, and I'm not stopping anytime soon, and I don't want to like stop that to start it again with the 3DS version. I'd much rather continue and just have that content on the 3DS version carry over so I can continue on with my save file. So that's pretty awesome. There'll be news of Star Fox because I know that's a big title they're going to be pushing. I want to be one of those two hopefuls out there that believe that there's going to be a Metroid game at the Nintendo Direct. That would be awesome, and I think the timing's right to sort of give Metroid another try. I actually like the Metroid series. I wouldn't say I'm a diehard fan, but it's a series I actually do really like from Nintendo. Like, I love Super Metroid. I love Metroid Zero Mission. That's such a fantastic remake. And I do like Metroid Fusion. And the first Metroid Prime game is amazing. I do not like Metroid Prime 2, though. That's got so many terrible game design flaws, it's not funny. I know I just recently bought the Metroid Prime collection on my Wii U as a downloadable digital title, and I'm looking forward to playing them all again, but I'm really hesitant to go back and play Echoes again, because my experience of playing on the GameCube was just not that great. So, but yeah, looking forward to if there's going to be a new Metroid game on the 3DS or the Wii U. So my wishes, and these are just off-the-wall wishes, and actually, you know what? I forgot to talk about Square Enix, but we'll get to Square Enix in a second. Okay, my big wishes for Nintendo. Golden Sun, like the sequel to Golden Sun Dark Dawn. That would blow me away if that comes out of nowhere. I'd just be like, oh my god. Because that's one of the most defining RPG experiences on the handheld since the Game Boy Advance, and it's my favorite games on the Game Boy Advance. I think Dark Dawn is a really good game, but I don't like it as much as the other two, but it really stands out from the rest of the DS RPG library. And if you play that game, it opens up big time to a sequel, which is something that Camelot seems to have an issue with. They just keep leaving these games way open to continuation. They did this with Shining Force 3, by the way, and that's why it's so tragic that sort of original sort of vision of the game sort of ended, or the series ended when it did. It's kind of really sad. I'm hoping that Golden Sun doesn't face the same fate. Hopefully not. That'd be awesome. The other thing that I really want to see is a Fire Emblem Radiant Saga HD collection for the Wii U. Even though Radiant Dawn is probably a more uncommon title, Path of Radiance is outright a rarity, at least here in Australia. I don't know too many other people other than myself that have a copy. I'm very fortunate I bought my copy on day one. Both games are amazing. They're like some of the best games in the series, and I believe that people should have more access to them, and I think that would be a really cool remake for the Wii U, and I reckon they should definitely consider that. Oh boy, off the top of my head, another game that I'd love to see from them, probably bring back Twilight Princess in some way or form, because the last time I played Twilight Princess was December of 2006 into January of 2007. It's been quite a long time, nearly 8 years. I'm due to play Twilight Princess again. I know I can stick it back on my Wii U and play it as originally intended, but it'd be nice if they could port it to the 3DS or new 3DS, or have a HD version on the Wii U like they did with the Wind Waker. That would be very cool. So, just to tie everyone over until the brand new Zelda game comes out. Lastly for Nintendo, and this is probably my most defining wish for E3, is Fire Emblem Warriors. Like, if this comes out, this will be my most anticipated Warriors game of all time, because the Fire Emblem universe lends itself perfectly, almost flawlessly, to the Warriors' design of gameplay, and they basically can just take the battles from the Fire Emblem games and adapt them into a real-time Warriors setting. And ever since I saw this one dude's artist representation of what Fire Emblem Warriors looked like, I was like, yes, this needs to happen. He needs to happen now. And of course, it would be made by Koei and Amiga Force. Right now, they've got their hands busy with Dragon Quest Heroes 2 and Legend of the Heroic Aslan Warriors, which is based off a anime, which is based off a really famous series of fantasy novels. And I watched the first episode of the anime a few days ago, and it's awesome. It is so freaking cool. Like, it's probably one of the best anime series I've seen in a long time. And if you love like sword and sorcery, you will get a kick out of watching Heroic Legend of Aslan. It's so cool, and the fact it's getting a Warriors game is even cooler within itself, and I'm really looking forward to that as well. So I think if they can squeeze in another game, because I've got 2 more Samurai Warriors games coming up. I think they've already been made, but they're just going to get localized. So hopefully Japan will be free, possibly after Hyrule Warriors 3DS, to maybe consider making a Fire Emblem Warriors, and that will definitely like win E3 for me if that was to happen. So we'll see what happens. Now, let's talk about Square Enix last, because they're going to have their own conference. And after watching their teaser video, which I will admit frustrated the hell out of me yesterday. Basically, this teaser video, it had this lines of dialogue there, and whenever they were going to mention a series, the series would be whited out and bleeped out, so you didn't know what they're talking about. I think it's kind of really harsh, the fact that someone pointed out very quickly that the music they used in the trailer was a remix of Frog's theme. That's kind of giving everyone the indication that there's going to be something Chrono related. I am not going to hold out to think that it's going to be Chrono Trigger 2 or a third Chrono game. I reckon that it's going to be like Chrono Trigger HD on the PS4. I know a lot of people are probably yelling at me for that, but I know Square Enix, and even though they're kind of slowly crawling back to a good form, I wouldn't put it past them to like just bring back Chrono Trigger and not even try to make another Chrono game. I mean, if they did make another Chrono game, that would probably break the internet and win the hearts and minds of a lot of RPG fans. That would be cool, though. My biggest wish for Square Enix, anything Dragon Quest. I'm basically, at this point, I'm desperate. I'm like, I know Dragon Quest Heroes is coming out. I've played the Japanese version. It's fantastic. It's amazing. If you're a Dragon Quest fan, it's the best piece of Dragon Quest fan service you could ever hope for. Amazing. I need Dragon Quest 7. Like, that is half the reason I bought a 3DS. And I would hate to end the consoles, or I should say handhelds, lifespan with the number one game that I want to play not even made available. I mean, of course, if worst comes to worst, there's always the supposed fan translation that's in production, but I would much rather the official product, and that is, without a doubt, that's not just a wish, that is the thing that I hope they announce. Like, if Fire Emblem Warriors doesn't happen with the Nintendo Direct, I'm not going to walk away like bitter. It's like, well, he's hoping. Whereas Dragon Quest 7 exists. It exists in Japan. It's like, that is something that I want to happen. And if it doesn't happen this E3, I'm probably going to walk away extremely bitter towards Square Enix. It was so funny. I went to the comments section of that video, and I basically challenged them, basically saying, if you localize at least one more Dragon Quest game other than Dragon Quest Heroes, I'll get up and cosplay as the Dragon Quest 8 hero, because I've actually got the costume of the Dragon Quest 8 hero in my house, so I can do that anytime. But I thought, if they do that, I'll hold my end of the bargain, make a video where I dance as him, or do a Let's Play where I'm playing Dragon Quest 8 as the Dragon Quest 8 hero. Who knows, but if they do that, I'll honor it, because that's the only thing that I want from them, is more Dragon Quest. As for predictions, they'll definitely talk about all the stuff they've hinted at. There'll probably be more talk of Final Fantasy 15, maybe Kingdom Hearts 3, Star Ocean 5. It would be definitely, I reckon they're going to go into much more detail with Star Ocean 5 there. Look, I'm not saying that I wouldn't want them to bring out Final Fantasy Explorers. It's just a game that I wouldn't play that much, I don't think. And I hope that's not one of the big secrets. Like the whole, we'll be announcing and all this. I hope they're brand new titles that no one knows about. Not stuff that Japan's had for ages. Except for this Dragon Quest, because there's like about 8 Dragon Quest games on the 3DS. At least bring some of them here, you know. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I'd say my big predictions is one of the craziest predictions that I sort of talked about with my friends is basically directly after the Square Enix conference, they're gonna have that Final Fantasy VII HD version with upscaled original graphics made available directly after, because it was supposed to come out the spring of 2015, and yeah, it's summer in America and winter here in Australia, and that's already been passed, so they're behind schedule. A lot of my friends going to say that it was the biggest sort of hoax of the gaming industry, that basically they showed that to tease fans, and coming E3 they're going to show what the game really looks like, and it's going to have PS4 visuals. Who knows, man, who knows. Square Enix is someone that I'm very cautiously, slightly optimistic about. I'm not the fan I once was of them. I've been burnt by them so many times that I'm so cautious that I don't get hyped for anything. And we'll see what happens. I know that's probably going to be my most anticipated conference of E3, and I think it can sort of make or break them for a company. Like, people who are on the edge, it'll make or break them. And if they actually really do make a breakthrough and release a lot of stuff that people want, it may bring some fans that have quit supporting them back into the fold, or not. Who knows what will happen, but we'll see what happens when E3 happens. But yeah, this video has gone on for quite longer than I intended. But yes, I just want to end it there. I just want to say before this video ends that I want everyone to have a wonderful E3 week. I hope stuff that you've wanted for years gets announced, and more news of your most awaited games gets finalized, and more details is given to you, so you've got some more hope for these games, and you know, just to tide you over until these games releases. So tell in the comment section what conference you are looking forward to the most, and what title are you looking forward to that has already been announced. And third, what is a game that hasn't been announced yet that is your dream title to be announced at E3? So I want to know in the comment section below. And I just want to leave it at that and say thank you guys for listening to this video. And once again, have a wonderful E3 week, guys. Take care.